Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, here with producer Josh Northcutt and co host Ben Miller. Did not almost say something else there, and I saw Josh notice what I was going to say, but
100%.
we're back with episode 10 in double digits already, moving fast, doing the Monday, Friday. So we have a lot to talk about. Denny Hamlin is a title sponsor now, 18 races with Progressive. We'll get into that and what we think about what the future looks like for Hamlin, because he's kind of a driver that year to year has looked like, will he be here next year? Will he move back to his team, or will he move over to his team, or will he just retire, focus on being an owner? And so I think this kind of secures something long term. But we're also going to talk about the ratings. We have some historic numbers from the first FS1 race of the year. We're going to talk a little bit about Carl Edwards. You know, I had to get the Carl Edwards podcast talking there, as I wasn't able to last week. So, and then we're going to kind of take a look around the point standings, see some people we think are overperforming, underperforming, or right about where we think they will be. So, without further ado, let's start with the Denny Hamlin Progressive news, as it was rumored early in the week and then confirmed later in the week that Denny Hamlin has an 18-race schedule with Progressive. Adam Stern on X was the one to report that. And as far as I know, it is a multi-year deal. So that should confirm that Hamlin will be in the 11. I guess if he wanted to retire, just whoever replaces him in the 11 would get that Progressive deal. But it feels like a custom-made sponsorship for Denny Hamlin. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I'll start with Ben, and let me know what you think. How much does Hamlin have? How long do you think this partnership will last? How long will Hamlin stick around?
I can see this partnership lasting quite a while. I feel like in a way, I don't know if this will make sense though, but in a way, it'll probably depend on how he'll perform. But yeah, I can see them doing some great things together, and I honestly don't see Hamlin slowing down whatsoever.
Josh?
I would debate on the slowing down thing, but that can be a topic for another time. But all in all, could he pull Progressive with him if he decided to go be the third car at 2311, or did they sign through Joe Gibbs Racing?
It seems like a Joe Gibbs Racing thing. At the end of the day, it just depends on what the sponsor decides. I did just confirm it is not a multi-year deal. At least it was not mentioned that it was a multi-year deal. And some of that stuff can be held under wraps, where Adam Stern doesn't know whether it's a multi-year deal or not. He just knows that it's an 18 race deal. So it could be, if Progressive is really into Denny Hamlin and what he's doing, they want to support him, they could move over. If they are supporting more, just wanting to get that exposure, they want to be on a top team in the NASCAR Cup Series. They actually were on Ryan Newman's car back in, I believe, 2021 or 2020 for a couple of races. Kind of ironic, the guy who's been in some of the roughest crashes in NASCAR history, getting an insurance sponsor. But yeah, it's interesting. I would really like to know if it's a multi-year deal or not. For some reason, I read it as a multi-year deal. But it's not. And essentially, the 11 had 18 races that needed to be filled this year without FedEx. So Joe Gibbs was looking and searching for that, and Progressive happened to. It's like you're fishing, and Progressive happened to bite on the hook, and now they have an 18 race sponsor, which with a very nice scheme, a very clean scheme. I'm sure Josh likes it. A little bit of that baby blue, not quite the baby blue.
Oh no,
but,
no. And it's Tar Heel blue.
Close to it.
First off, it's Tar Heel blue. It's not baby blue. It's Tar Heel blue. Let's get it right. No.
Flow's not on the car.
Tar Heel blue. Way better than that Wild Kitty blue.
I just realized you both are wearing the respective schools. I'm saving my producer for tomorrow. I had it on yesterday.
But
so it's got to get watched.
The one thing I wanted to look at also, and I did a quick Google search as we were talking. Denny Hamlin obviously signed that contract extension in 2023. They never actually announced how many years it was, did they?
They tend not to. They tend to just say multi-year or a one-year extension. They don't go into detail. That's the difference with NASCAR. It's very private, the contract terms.
So, would you think, though, if you had to guess, it would almost be a lifetime deal for how long he's been there? Like, they're not going to force Denny Hamlin out of Joe Gibbs Racing, right?
No. It's not going to be a lifetime deal per se, but it's going to they'll sign him for a couple of years, and then at the end of that contract, they'll reevaluate. Does Denny, do you want to stay here for X amount of years? Okay, we'll sign you the X amount of years then. And they just kind of go from there. I know I think Jeff had a lifetime deal, and maybe Jimmy, Ben could probably comment on that.
I don't think he got a long-term deal. I think they signed him to like 2020.
Yeah, like if Jimmy Johnson's not getting a lifetime deal, Denny Hamlin isn't getting a lifetime deal. So I thought Jeff Gordon had one, or Tony Stewart had one, or something. Well, it definitely wasn't Tony because he owned the team. Duh.
And then,
but yeah,
Denny's obviously also 44. A lot of NASCAR guys, I feel like. I mean, he's
in prime retirement age.
Correct. Yeah. So that's
Harvick was about what, 47-ish?
He 46? Was 45.
Okay.
So I mean, basically retirement age. Truex just retired at 44.
But so, Mark Martin.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If anyone's going to be the next Mark Martin, it's going to be Denny. They're both from Virginia. Mark Martin's from they're both from Virginia.
And they also
Arkansas. No. I always say Virginia because Martinsville. I'm sorry.
And then also neither has a championship, so you know.
Yeah, that's the connection there. They both Denny's going to stick around until he wins a championship, and maybe he'll have to die. Wait. Before that happens, at the rate this is going. Another sponsored news I wanted to mention because I'm kind of seeing the pieces form here. Traveler Whiskey says, and I quote, "I think we're looking at options on doing more sponsorships in NASCAR. We've seen enough positive fan response from NASCAR to tell us that NASCAR fans like what Traveler Whiskey stands for and what we brought to the Daytona 500. Justin Allgaier remains the #1 Cup driver in merch sales to this day. He ran one race.
It's almost as if everybody wants Junior in the Cup Series.
Potentially.
Yeah, good point.
And I mean, NASCAR drivers also like Whiskey and Chris Stapleton. So I feel like it's all a bunch of things people like in one, bundled up in one. But yeah, I'm seeing the stars align here. They need a charter. I think that's the main thing. If he can get enough funding for a charter, whether that be through sponsorship or partnership or something. Fun fact: Jimmy and Dale were actually going to come together and make a team, and then Jimmy instead went with Legacy Motor Club. I forget.
Really?
I think the charter was the main hang-up. Yeah, they talked about it on the GL Junior download. I think Jimmy was either on there or Dale mentioned it. I forget what the deal was, but
yeah, that's interesting. I did not hear about that. I mean,
yeah, I think it was in very kind of like beer on the porch stages of where it was at. So it wasn't necessarily like moves were being made, but it was something that had been talked about. So if maybe there can be somebody else that Junior looks to get in business with, or if Traveler Whiskey throws enough money, we'll have to wait and see. But that's the sponsorship news from this week. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the ratings, as they went up over the past week, or up in terms of actually they went up as well on cable as opposed to a road course race. They got a 1.48 rating and 311 million viewers for Sunday's Pennzoil 400 at Las Vegas. That is the best NASCAR race on cable since spring Darlington 2021. And there is no direct comp to last year, but we know it's more than any race than a Vegas or that of a FS1 race last year. So is this signs of ratings going up? Because that's really good for FS1. That considering the selection show was on at the same time, personally, I'll tell you they didn't get my viewership during that time. I tuned back in at the end, but what do y'all think about that? Starting with Ben.
Yeah, I mean that's a great step in the right direction for our sport. I mean, those ratings going up. I mean, like you mentioned, Colton, the fact that it went up on the day of Selection Sunday, like you would think that more people would be more engaged on the bracket than the NASCAR race at Las Vegas, though. But I mean, overall, though, that's just mind-boggling, though. The fact that we did it, like I said, on Selection Sunday was insane.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Colton. That's all 5 races that have been up now, correct? Even if it was just a little bit.
There's technically not a direct comparison that they typically will say the ratings are up, but I mean, I think the best cable race Yes, positive ratings, we'll call it, each of the 5 races so far. So
That's
a good trend.
Yeah, that's a win to me. And we mentioned it. I want to say it was like maybe last week when we were talking the Bull. It's not like it's been bad racing either.
No.
Even with Christopher Bell, quote unquote, dominating the start of the season with his 3 victories, all races have been entertaining. All have had good stages where it's like, okay, maybe the stage idea isn't the worst idea because I know a lot of people are against it. I'm assuming Colton is one of them. Or
No. I'm not against the
Okay.
idea of stage racing, especially the point system. I don't like the cautions that come with it. I think, like we did at road courses, we should do everywhere where there's no cautions. Just go to commercial break at the end of the stage. It's fine. And then, but continue the racing. Keep the racing flow fine. Allow there to be varying strategies, not just, okay, I'm going to have to pit at lap 40 or 41 to get to lap 95 in stage 1.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
Sorry. But yeah, with the stage racings though, I agree. We need to get rid of the cautions because in a way that's just not good racing. I mean, I read the comments from time to time, and
that's a dangerous place to be, Ben.
Yeah, it sure is, especially for NASCAR.
But yeah, I just hope like NASCAR will come together eventually sometime to discuss, hey, maybe we should not have so many cautions though, because in a way they're just taking away good racing. I mean, like, why would you stop it in the middle of it? I mean, we don't see this in IndyCar. We don't see it in F1. I mean, unless if there's a way we can throw a caution though, like if it's for debris or a wreck, that's when we throw the cautions. But don't do it at the end of stages. Like, just let it stay green.
Yeah, I think stage points is an outstanding idea that has had great repercussions. Like we have people like Blaney and Logano who haven't necessarily had the results to start, but they're still top 10 in the points without stage points. I mean, Logano, 50 of his 136 points are stage points. So you take out 50, he's down in like 25th or 26th. So stage points are absolutely necessary, but we don't have to have the cautions. You get the stage finish, you go to commercial break like you do during green flag runs anyways. If stage cautions eliminated commercial breaks throughout the race, then I would be happy, but it doesn't. So you don't have to have the caution. Just go to break. We miss 5 laps or so, whatever you do your caution for or your commercial break for, and then come back. It's simple as that. Probably won't happen, but I think it's a pretty simple solution.
Yep.
But we were going to talk about Carl Edwards, but I don't want to open up that can of worms because I'll talk about that forever. I kind of wanted to get into this point standings. If you haven't seen Carl's Dale Jr. Download podcast, go check it out. It is an outstanding podcast, not just because I'm Carl's #1 fan. Everyone is saying it. And it's just a great podcast. A sad one, too, to find out, the reason why he retired was pretty well, not directly. He lost the championship, so he gave up. But a lot of things around that and kind of his beliefs led into that as well. So be sure to go check that out for sure. But I want to get into the fly the flag because for this week, we're going to do a little checkup on the point system. I want to tell you, I want you guys to tell me if you think they're overperforming, underperforming, middle. If green would be you think they're in the right spot, they're doing just right. Yellow would be maybe overperforming or underperforming a bit. Red is like, they will not be here anymore. Or this is severely underperforming. So I think is that confusing at all, or you guys got that?
I think we got
it. Makes sense, man.
All right, sounds good. I will go through it, and then I'll stop at a point where I think we should talk about. So Byron's in first place with 207 points on the year. Bell is 29 points behind him with 3 wins. 29 is insane. I didn't realize it had gained that much just off a 12th place finish from Bell. Reddick is back 48 points in third. Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman round out your top 5. Kyle Larson is in 6th. Ryan Blaney in 7th. And I know Josh had some questions about Blaney and his start, so I think we'll start here. 7th place in points. Is this a green flag, yellow flag, or red flag? And Josh, I'll let you start.
I'm going to throw the yellow. I think there's a little bit of cautious with this. We kind of talked about, obviously, if Penske car gets to Phoenix, they can compete and obviously win the race. They're going to be favored to do it. But right now, I would question if any of the three guys would get there. Obviously, I know I'm one who pushed hard towards the Austin Cindric was going to be one of the final four. And then I believe last week I turned around and I kind of changed my opinion to the final four have already been decided. But not to look too far ahead, but I'll tell you right now, in my power rankings, Ryan Blaney's not going to be near my top five. Wouldn't even be an honorable mention.
Yep.
And Colton, you and I talked about it when we were on our way down to Nashville. Something just seems off with him. Like attacking his team, kind of blaming his team 2 weeks ago. Was
For
it?
an engine failure. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
And then this past week, you said he had one of the fastest cars, but then obviously got caught up in the Daniel Suarez situation where, again, Suarez runs out of talent but still finishes in second place. Maybe it's just a string of bad luck. If anybody can turn it around, it's obviously a former champion like Ryan Blaney. But could Ryan Blaney be hitting his Chase Elliott type stage of maybe not? My bad, Colton.
It's okay.
I'll cut it off there.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Go ahead, Ben.
Ben, what
All
do
right.
you think?
So I'm actually going to go red flag on this one. I mean, I don't see Ryan Blaney staying in seventh in the standings for much longer. I mean, as drivers, they all go through it, though. I mean, it's obviously been a rough couple of weeks for them. I mean, the engine failure at Phoenix and having to get involved in that wreck at Las Vegas. I feel like eventually they're going to try to turn it around, and he'll be back to being a championship contender. So as of right now, I'm not really concerned about this 12 car.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw the yellow. I could see him hanging out in seventh, or I could see him going higher. It just depends upon if he's able to get those finishes. Moving down the list, though, we got Joey Logano in eighth, Chris Buescher ninth, Ross Chastain in 10th, Bubba Wallace up to 11th, Denny Hamlin fell down to 12th, Josh Berry in 13th, the man of the week. My next one lands on two drivers, so we'll go ahead and get them both in here, 2 for 1. Michael McDowell in 14th and John Hunter Nemechek in 15th. McDowell, for whatever reason, seems to be hanging around. He went up a position over the past week. Also, we'll just lump this guy in there. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is in 16th as well. So just go ahead. You don't have to do the green flag thing. Just like tell me which one of those three do you see hanging around the top 16, if any? Ben.
Let me double check here. I would probably say Michael McDowell. I feel like every once in a while we see him. He has really good qualifying performances, though the race results haven't really shown throughout the race. But I feel like if they come together and try to figure out some strategies on, hey, we got our qualifying down, we know how we can be in qualifying. It'll just depend, like, how can we do that in the race? So I feel like if they can try to figure that out, I could see Michael McDowell hanging around in there.
Josh?
I think this is just three drivers benefiting off of 2 super speedway races at the beginning of the year.
And some bad performances from other drivers. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So all three will probably be out. Now, could one of them possibly steal a race when we get to another speedway, or McDowell when we get to a road course? Yeah. So if I had to pick, it would be McDowell. And I don't think it's close. The other two guys I will never trust Recchi. How he still gets to be a guy, I don't understand.
Super speedways, man.
So all you need is 6 races.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it sounds like he's SVG of super speedway to me. Then get him out of a car, get him out of a car, and bring somebody else up with some younger talent or something.
No,
but
that team's just trying to make money.
But he's got to bring some sponsors too, right? That name,
he did. Kroger's gone now.
Oh, okay, so. And
I don't know who he's sponsored by even now. Sorry.
I've always been a fan of Nemechek, but I'm just I still think he might be a year or two away.
Yeah.
I would agree. I feel like they all three, if I would see one sticking around, it'd probably be McDowell and probably a gambler's chance at sorry, Josh, didn't mean to call you out there, of John Hunter Nemechek sticking around as well. Moving down the list, Kyle Busch, 17th, Ryan Preece 18th, Daniel Suarez 19th, up 10 spots with the second place last week.
Well,
interesting how high he would have jumped after Phoenix.
I'm going to cut you off, and I want to talk about somebody, Ryan Preece. So he's up to 18th, as you mentioned.
Correct.
He had a very, very good race this past week. Did he not?
3rd place.
Yep.
All I'm saying,
13th last week.
All I'm saying, and I know you called me crazy, he's gonna find a way to victory lane before the year is over.
Did I call you crazy?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I could said I could see it, or at least I know internally I feel like I could see it at a short track and always could have, even at Stuart Haas.
Correct. Yeah. There's something about Ryan Preece, and I think it was Ben in the beginning of the year was super high on him.
Mm-hmm.
Might have picked him to make his playoffs. I don't remember
I did.
how all that is jumbled. But Ben sold me on him. Watching his talent over the last 2-3 races, I think it can be done, and I think that like 18th will be the floor of his position for the rest of the year, and he will find his way into the top 16.
I definitely agree, Josh. I mean, like you said, I was really high on Priest going into the season. I mean, this is his best opportunity for him to put together solid performances and even compete for wins. I mean, we saw it at Phoenix. We saw it at Vegas last week with his 3rd place finish. So I feel like with those 2 races, though, as we go into Homestead, I feel like Priest and that 60 team, they're going to continue the momentum, though, because I feel like we can definitely see him in the top 16 for sure.
Yep. I'm sorry if I called you stupid. I don't know why.
I shouldn't say stupid, but you just kind of scratch your head because you're like, just because he was running up front, I forget.
When it was Phoenix and you were like saying Ryan Preece eyeballs, I was just like, he has the softer tire. That was all. I understand. I could totally see him rattling off a short track win. He's really good at the short tracks, but he's had a great finish at Las Vegas. You have to be able to leave it there. Anyways, we're going over our time a little bit here, but there are 2 drivers we might have to just bring up every week at this point. Brad finally got a decent finish, but he still finds himself 30th in points. But Ty Gibbs finds himself just 9 points ahead of Cole Custer in 34th place. Do you see either of those 2 rising up the ranks anytime soon?
I red flag for both. I mean, obviously they are not living up to expectations whatsoever. Like I thought RFK, they'd be like a championship threat, like all 3 cars at the beginning of the year. But they, with Brad, it's just not been working out. But the thing with Ty Gibbs, though, like I had high expectations for him, though. Like I said at the beginning of the year, this is the year where he's finally going to reach victory lane. I mean, we've seen flashes of him a season ago where he was putting together top 5 finishes, had great qualifying efforts. But since the end of last year, it's just been an absolute disaster for Ty Gibbs. And he's not living up to my expectations, like I said. And I don't see him getting to victory lane anytime soon.
I can sum up the Ty Gibbs fact that he is only 9 points ahead of Cole Custer. Enough said. He's driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he's
22 ahead of Jimmy Johnson.
And Jimmy raced 1 race?
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand it, because if you remember, I bought in. And I was like, okay. And then at the beginning of the year, just something wasn't clicking right. And I realized, like, talent-wise, he is easily the 4th best driver on that team.
Yeah.
Chase Briscoe jumped him in the totem pole. Christopher Bell is clearly the best driver.
Well, he was behind Truex anyways.
Correct. But I thought he was catching Truex, if I was going to be honest with you.
Truex was falling behind. I don't know that Gibbs was catching Truex per se. You got to know Gibbs is probably getting the best equipment, though, regardless.
Well,
Bell's probably getting the best.
Yeah.
But I would say Denny and Gibbs are and Briscoe's probably getting the worst equipment out of them all. I would say, because you just got to understand, when your grandson's driving, case in point RCR, he gets your good stuff. He gets the favoritism, and that's just how it works in NASCAR.
And to last sum it up, the other silver spoon is 71 points. If you want to be a silver spoon and you want to finish below the silver spoon,
This is actually
Austin-
Silver Spoon Road down here. Austin Dillon 32nd, Ty Gibbs 34th,
Yeah.
and Cole Custer 35th.
Yeah, man. I wish my
Ty
daddy
Gibbs,
would've
Ty
fucking grown
Dillon
up.
is ahead of him in points by a mile.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
What the hell?
Dude,
This is weird.
I
Yeah.
Riley Hurts too.
if any we talked about it before, Colton, but if any other driver on the planet was where Ty Gibbs was, he would be getting fired at the end of the season.
Yep.
So
You know, and he's
I
still got
don't-
another 20 years out of him.
I don't know how NASCAR works with the mindset. Maybe they brought him up a little bit too soon.
Oh, they
Would
did.
would it damage him if they sent him back down to Xfinity?
Joe Gibbs won't do it. He just won't. He'll let him rot in the Cup Series. I feel like. To me,
Man.
I could be wrong, but it's not like a situation where Cole Custer is just the son of an executive at the team.
Yep.
Ty Gibbs is the direct grandson of Joe Gibbs. So, I mean, he can just run 34th all year, and he's got a ride for 20 years. I think. I hope Joe proves me wrong, because it's sad and it's ridiculous that this guy gets a Cup Series ride while there's plenty of more talented, more deserving. And I think he's got talent in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I just don't know where it went. And I saw a tweet, and it's a fair point. Like, this is what happens when you get the benefit of the doubt everywhere you go. You get the best equipment in the Xfinity Series. You still won 8 races. There's drivers that could have that equipment and not win 8 races. So I can't say that he doesn't have talent, but it's like when you are just hand-fed, hand-given everything your entire life, which Ty Gibbs has been. This is not a Dale Jr. situation where it took Dale Earnhardt's team telling him, hey, this guy's good. You need to put him on your team to get him to actually bring Junior on. And it's not that situation. And Junior was benefited because of that. And I feel like it needs to be kind of said more often. Chase Elliott is another guy that, yes, Bill Elliott's name got him places, but he still took his time, worked his way through the ranks, and no, he's not winning races anymore for God knows why, but he's still a hell of a driver that's 5th in points right now.
Yeah.
And I'll wrap it up with this. If they were to send him back down, would they just call up Brandon Jones, you think?
Hell
that would
no.
be
Absolutely
that would be
not.
a bad idea.
That's Ty Gibbs, but worse.
Okay.
That's Ty Gibbs without any show of talent his entire career.
Okay. Could you do maybe
You could slide over John R. Nemechek. Heaven forbid you bring Eric Jones back on the team. You could slide somebody from Legacy, I feel like.
Okay.
Or you could bring up – I don't think anybody in Xfinity really strikes me as ready for the Cup Series anyway.
Yeah. Could you bring up Eric Amarillo for a year?
I don't think he wants to. I think he's wanting to spend time with family, kind of like Carl.
Yeah.
Could – let's say Justin Haley and Rodney Childers get the 48 that they're kind of lined up for, except Alex Bowman's looking really great this year. So I think if he keeps up what he's doing right now, it'd be hard for Hendrick to kick him out. I mean, if he kept Mark Martin at the age of 50 over Brad Keselowski just because he won a race, I feel like he should be able to keep Alex Bowman here, but maybe times have changed. But if Alex Bowman were to be kicked out, and let's say they put Ty Gibbs down, why would you not bring him in? I mean, he is 4 top 5s in the start of the season, and maybe he'll go through that summer slump like he usually does. But I still think he would be probably the hottest guy on free agency that we know of to this point. We went way over on that, but we did. It was a conversation we very much needed to have. Josh Berry isn't necessarily tied down to the 21. Does he take a chance on that? Like, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I would be shocked. I would be genuinely shocked if Ty Gibbs got cut or not cut, but moved down to the Xfinity Series, even though it is the course of action they should take, if you ask me.
For sure.
Now that we got that out of the way, we got 10 minutes left.
Bob Morris just took the lead.
Really?
Robert Morris. Okay. I was like, who the hell's Robert Morris? All right. So there we go. Alabama busting brackets. We love to see it. Let me pull that up. Actually, we got to pull up some other stuff here. First of all, we got to pull up our Slide Job podcast Fast 5 standings after Vegas. Shocker, Ben is in the lead of 223 points. I forgot who you guys picked, and I asked the wrong group chat. I asked the one with Josh and Alex, and not Josh and Ben. So we all got it wrong. Nobody picked Josh Berry, surprisingly, to win. But I remember picking Christopher Bell. I still have a 1-point lead on Josh in second place. But it was a rough week for me with Bowman and Elliott being my only top 10s. Bell got me 12th, but Reddick and his stupid strategy got me 24th. And then Blaney and his bad karma got 35th. For Ben, it was Byron 4th, Larson 9th, Busher 13th, Logano 15th, and Hamlin and his stupid strategy in 25th. Otherwise, he would have had all 5 drivers in the top 20. Lastly, Josh has 169 points. Nice. With negative or 54 points back on the leader. I'm 53 points back on the leader. Chastain got 5th, Kozlowski 11th, Briscoe 17th, Ty Gibbs 22nd, and Kyle Busch in 33rd. So, yeah, I don't know. I was saying it before. I won't go as far into detail as before the show, but all I can say is I have 4 of the top 5 in points right now, currently. And they all have their days just go piss poor wrong. I end up losing points on both Ben and Josh, which means I get to choose which pick I want, and I want the first overall pick because I guess supposedly it's the most valuable pick, but I was the first one not to use that value. So Christopher Bell's been pretty decent this year. He's got the best average finish at Homestead. I think I'm going to stick with him and take him with the first overall pick. I forgot to make out the list. So I'll do that while Josh had the second amount of points and then Ben. So Josh, do you want the second or third pick?
I'll just take the second pick. And when I'm looking at the drivers, it's a guy who's slumped a little bit. However, he's won here before. He's got 2 top 5 finishes here, and it's a track he dominated. Just a bad finish of 35th at one point. Give me Tyler Reddick.
Okay. All right, for myself, my first pick this week, I'm going with the 5 of Kyle Larson. He obviously, whenever there's a 1.5 mile racetrack, you obviously cannot count him out. He's obviously going to be he's going to be a big favorite this weekend. I feel like with this track coming up this week, I feel like he's going to do some good things. So give me Kyle Larson.
The man's led 296 laps here. So, yeah, he's pretty good here.
Yep. I was going to say he runs up front. And he's going to be a factor.
In the next gen era. That's just in 3 races.
Ben, you're up again.
Oh, I'm up again. All right. Let's see here. I'm going with the 24 of William Byron.
Why do we keep losing to Ben? He just takes the same 2 guys every week.
He just takes the 2. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't take Larson, but I just looked at Bell 5.3. I'm like,
you just got to pick him before me. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But obviously, William Byron, he's been one of the most consistent drivers so far in this 2025 season. He was another one that had a fast car in Las Vegas. So I feel like with that momentum, though, he's going to bring that into Homestead. And I know I keep saying it, but I don't see that 24 car slowing down.
For me, it's going to be pretty simple. It's a guy, surprisingly, who has ran here very, very, very well in the next gen car. Give me AJ Allmendinger.
I was hoping you guys would just call it Fool's Gold and leave him for me, but that's okay. I'll take a guy who has only.
I knew you liked him too much, so
yeah. I appreciate that because I'm just going to take Ryan Blaney. Oh shucks! Wait. No, I'm not. Why did I say that? No, I changed my mind. Ryan Blaney is not going to be my pick because if I pick him, he's going to wreck. If I don't, I'll pick him. Damn it, he's going to be fast. At least I know that. Sorry to make you cross it out and write it down again, but I'm taking Ryan Blaney. And I'm going to stick with Ford and go with Josh Berry, who in his one race here finished 11th, has had a great start. I'm buying in on it. This is a driver track, and he's pretty decent. He's a pretty decent driver. So give me Josh Berry as my next pick.
All right. Let's see.
It's me, Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
You're good. So for me, looking at this, he seems to be kind of finding something. And we talked about the little rough summer, but last time I checked, it's not summertime yet. So go ahead and give me Alex Bowman.
All right.
I'm not gonna let you have all the Hendricks cars, Ben.
All good. All good.
They would, if you somehow, some way, they would have all been top 4 if you would have.
Yeah, they would have replicated the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. All right. Just looking down at this list right here. I know this will probably be a Hail Mary, but I'm taking the 60 of Ryan Preece. I feel like I know we talked about it earlier though. That 60 car is starting to show great speed, always starting to run up front a little bit more. Excuse me. Like we saw it at Phoenix, we saw it in Vegas though, and I feel like they're going to continue it, and I feel like he's going to be a factor on Sunday. So I'm going with the 60 of Ryan Preece.
The interesting thing I see about his stats here is that his average start in 2 races at Homestead is 32nd, but his average finish is 11.5. So it's a track that must cater to him pretty well.
Yeah.
If he's able to do that, and Stuart Haas equipment of all things. So
right.
Yeah, great pick.
Do I get another one?
Or? Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see. I'm going with give me Chase Elliott.
At least Josh didn't take him. I knew you were going to take him, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So
I mean, even though Chase Elliott, he hasn't really shown the speed necessarily, though. I mean, throughout the races, though, we see him run in the top 15, top 20, though. Still trying to find that winning speed a little bit, though. But he's been overcoming adversity to try to get these top 10 runs. So, yeah, we'll see what happens this weekend for that 9 car.
Joshua.
Yeah. Is the progressive car going to be out on the track this week for the first time? Or is that for a different race?
I don't know, to be honest.
I have no idea.
You know what? I'm going to take the chance that it's going to be out there, because if it's out there and it's going to be the first time he's going to be wheeling it around the track, he'll find a way towards the front. So give me Denny Hamlin.
Okay. Damn it. I was going to take Denny and Bubba, so I'll take Bubba. Had a bad fast car at Las Vegas. Has a pretty good average finish here. I'm not taking the elusive Carson Hocevar 9th place finish last year. He'll either finish 9th or he'll finish 39th. Like, who knows with him? So I'm not going to take a chance. I got to start building some points here. Somebody's been able to, despite RFK looking a little slow to start the year. I'm going to go with Chris Buescher as my second driver here and round out my team with that.
Okay.
I was looking at Hocevar as well, but like you, I think it's going to be a wait and see, prove it to me before I pick it. Also took a look at Austin Dillon, who's pretty darn good here. If you
don't do it,
surprised by that.
Do it. No, do it, Ben. Why would you tell him not to?
But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on just talent alone. Give me Chase Briscoe.
Okay. All right. So for my 5th and final pick of this week's fantasy, just going through this list right here. I'm going to take another Hail Mary, though, and I'm taking the 77 of Carson Hocevar.
Thank God he will have somebody finish outside the top 20.
Whew.
Yeah, Hocevar's one in the race.
He sure is.
Yeah.
He sure is.
But just a quick explanation real quick. I mean, we've seen flashes of the 77 car. I mean, he's been fast. I mean, he's still a little bit inconsistent, though. But I feel like with Homestead coming up this week, I can see him possibly getting a top 15, top 10. Who knows? Maybe even top 5. We'll see.
He certainly will be in the top 10 at some point of the race. Just where he'll finish is the question. A couple honorable mentions. Daniel Suarez has a pretty decent average finish here of 14th. Another guy you mentioned, Austin Dillon. There's another guy I wanted to mention who's better at it than his average finish shows. That is Noah Gragson. He's ran 2 races here and finished 22nd, but he was bad fast pretty consistently in the Xfinity series here. He's a guy I thought about, but I don't know about him yet. So, and Ross Chastain's a guy who's definitely low on the average finish, but is good at these mile and a halves that he could get that average finish going up as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it all moves around. And I'm fairly happy with my team. Not as happy as it was last week, so that's probably a good sign. So now let's go ahead and go for our race winners. Now you may be wondering why I want to take Kyle Larson as my race winner, even though I didn't take him with the first pick. It's because, hey, if he wins, at least I match Ben's points, and it is who I think is going to win. But I know Bell is going to be fast, and I know he's probably going to be around that top 10 area. So that's more what I'm going for, other than Larson, who could end up, doing whatever. He's had some bad luck here in recent years, so I didn't know what way it would go with that. So Larson will probably win the race since I didn't pick him with the first, but at least I get a race win pick.
All right. I mean, I was kind of going back and forth, but I'm taking Kyle Larson as well. I feel like, like I said earlier, whenever there's a 1.5 mile racetrack, I mean, he's going to be a big favorite. He's going to have a fast car this weekend, and he's going to be ripping that wall at Homestead. What he does best. So so give me Kyle Larson.
Joshua.
The progressive car will be out on the track on Sunday. Give me Denny Hamlin.
Didn't win when Ryan Newman was driving it.
That's not Denny. This is the first I've actually seen of the paint, like full paint scheme, and I do like the 11 being completely off center, kind of like a dirt track look. So that's going to look really sweet in Victory Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Can't wait for him to win. I'm excited. So excited. Can't wait. Thank you. Or you guys got any last words to get out before I wrap up the show?
No, I want to watch the
college
college basketball.
I give segment, and I'm ready to watch the college basketball.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Let's go, Cats.
Villanova's not in the tournament. Arizona. That's right. Well, thank you all for listening. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. For me at LFC__99, Josh at JNorth1989, and Ben at Ben Miller PXP. I've been a little active on the Twitter recently, so be sure to go check out some of the tweets. And thank you all for coming on to this show. I cannot wait to be cursing at my TV after all of my drivers have loose wheels and bullshit and all that fun stuff.
And Hamlin wins.
And Hamlin wins, of course, with Kyle Larson in second, of course, because Ben picked him, so he has to be there. And we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.